to do a leg of lamb. So we've got some special friends coming through from the other side of town, and we're doing a lunch, a Sunday lunch, and I've decided to do my favorite leg of lamb. This is something I've done for a couple of years now. It does take a little bit of time, a little bit of prep, but it's an amazing, amazing lunch. We often serve it with a little bit of mushroom risotto, perhaps a salad on the side in summertime, but I'll explain the rest of it to you later. With regards to the leg of lamb, this particular one is about 2.5 kilograms, so it's a big leg of lamb. I defrosted it the night before, and I've spiced it up now. So I'm going to tell you what I've spiced it up with, and you guys can follow with. So what I've done is I've got a spice rub, a lamb spice rub. I specifically use the Woolworths lamb spice rub, and in that spice rub you've got a little bit of cloves, you've got some mustard seeds, you've got some rosemary, some salt and some pepper, and a little bit of lemon rind. So that's what's included in the lamb rub. I've also got some fresh lemon which I'm going to squeeze onto it, and I've rubbed the piece of lamb with olive oil. So I've rubbed it down with olive oil, and I've made a few piercings in it so that the spices can actually be absorbed into it. And then I've put the spice rub on it. So you've got the spice rub on top, and then what I've got as well is a little bit of fresh garlic, and I've got some bay leaves there. So you've got your lamb rub, you've got your spices, you've got your olive oil, and at the bottom of the tray I've gone and put some chunky vegetables. So I've got some tomatoes, some carrots and some onions, which I've lined the tray with. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 1.5 glasses of red wine in there, and we're going to seal the whole tray up with foil. We're going to pop it into a 180-degree oven for about 5 to 6 hours. Now that's depending on the size of your leg of lamb. So maybe just check it from time to time. When you get to about 4 hours, start checking it just to see that it doesn't dry out. So that's what the process is at the moment. In terms of the risotto rice, I'll show you how that's done a little bit later, but let's get this piece of meat into the oven and see what happens there. Hi everyone, so second part of our meal, we're doing the lamb. The leg of lamb is in the oven, it's been in there for a couple of hours. So now I'm going to start on the risotto rice. So those of you that don't know risotto, it's a short grain rice and it's very creamy. It does require quite a lot of assistance in cooking, so you need to be there, you need to watch it the whole time. So I'm going to show you what we need to do to get the perfect risotto rice. I'm going to do a mushroom risotto. So for mushroom risotto you need obviously a punnet or two of mushrooms depending on how many mushrooms you want. You can use any kind of mushroom. If you really want to go out there and make it very extravagant, you can go with the exotic mushrooms. Otherwise you can use any sort of standard button mushroom, white button mushrooms or brown mushrooms as well. That will work perfectly fine. And then the other ingredients are you need 1 onion which you chop very finely, which you're going to fry up in some olive oil, and then you're going to add the risotto very slowly to that. The other ingredients are a little bit of garlic, either crushed garlic or you can go with a fresh one as well, which is awesome. Some salt and pepper, and I take a stock cube, either chicken or a vegetable stock cube, and I mix that with some water, and I use that as I'll go along with the risotto. And then you also need some white wine. Okay, so I've already fried up the onions in some olive oil, and I've added 2 teaspoons of garlic, crushed garlic, to that. And the onions are nice and translucent. Now I'm going to add the mushrooms to this. Once you've got the mushrooms in here, you're going to start adding the risotto rice. So I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of risotto rice to this, and just dry fry it for a little bit, get it coated in the olive oil, and then I'm going to start adding the stock, the water, to the rice slowly. Okay, so once you've allowed it to cook a little bit, you're going to keep stirring this risotto rice, and you're going to keep alternating between adding a little bit of stock water and maybe a little bit of splash of wine. If you don't want to add the wine, that's absolutely fine. You can just stick with the stock water, and you're going to keep adding it. So as it starts absorbing, as the rice grains start absorbing the stock, you keep adding a little bit more. You obviously at this stage have added your salt and pepper, and you're allowing it to cook. I would say you need between 25 to 35 minutes to get the right consistency of rice. I'll show you what that looks like. So right now we've got our lamb in the oven, and that's cooking away, and we've got our risotto on the stove, and we're watching that risotto, constantly adding stock to it or a little bit of wine, alternating between the two. I'm going to make a bit of a yogurt sauce for the lamb in the meantime and put that in the fridge. So what you need for my yogurt sauce, it's not a traditional tzatziki sauce, It's a little bit of my own version. And so instead of cucumber, I've got gherkins. So the ingredients are as follows: a few gherkins. You need quite a lot of mint, at least a bunch of mint that you chop up finely. And I also add a little bit of mint sauce to it. So the mint sauce that you buy in the jars, a teaspoon of that. And then some chopped up garlic, 1 clove is sufficient for that. And some salt and pepper, and then some really creamy yogurt. You can go with the Greek yogurt, but alternatively you can go with a full cream plain yogurt as well. That's not a problem at all. And you take all of those ingredients, you mix that up all together, and then you can just put that in the fridge and leave that for later.